Hey guys, welcome back to the WODdoc Project 365, episode 474. Today we're talking about is knee pain and how it can be affected by fibular head immobility, right? So, little anatomy lesson real quick. We have a couple things that go on our leg that makes it a little bit different. In the top of the leg, we have our femur, which is just consisting of one bone. The top leg, one bone. Bottom portion of the leg consists of two bones, right? You have a bigger bone on the inside, we call that the tibia, it's our shin bone, and we have a smaller bone on the outside, that's the fibula, all right? And they kind of work in this relationship to make this cup on the bottom, which then is what forms the mortise joint of our ankle. Now, when these bones don't necessarily slide by each other correctly, and when one kind of gets stuck or stiff, you could start to get mechanical dysfunction in the knee. That mechanical dysfunction could, end up into pain or other different types of syndromes, right? So anyway, when we're looking at this, to give you guys an idea of how these things would move, right? What I want you guys to understand is there are two bones that are right next to each other, right? So one being smaller, one being bigger. And when they move, they kind of end up sliding back and forth like such. And up and down, okay? Now, we're not going to get into all the different type of mechanics of saying which way it goes and which ankle position, but you have to understand that this needs to move around, right? So if this isn't moving around, then that can change those biomechanics and give us those pain syndromes we're talking about. Now, when I'm looking at this in the body, I want you guys to be able to grab onto the right anatomy. So we have a little bone up here on the top, a little bubble up here on the top, all right, this bony prominence. This is called the head of the fibula. Down here, this little knob, right, this is called your lateral malleolus, right? This is the bottom of the fibula. These together make up and encompass the entire fibula, right? So what I want is, I want this to move around. Now when I'm trying to shake this, it's the same thing, is that if this was right here and I was trying to move this, right? So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to get a good grasp on here, okay? And I'm going to increase my grasp by taking a piece of therapeutic band. I like to do this just because it just adds like a little bit of grip. It's kind of like putting on one of those little rubber mitts on a can, like when we're trying to rip them off, trying to open them up. So what we're going to do here is I'm actually going to wrap this around the opposite way so it gets tighter. Gonna lay that just there like that, right? I'm gonna take my hand, the same hand as the leg that's up, right? I'm in this lunge type position. I'm gonna start from the back and I'm just gonna grab right over that bony prominence which I just showed you. From right there, I'm just gonna twist, all right? I'm gonna twist internally, all right? That's twisting towards the inside, right? And I'm gonna put pressure with my thumb, and my thumb is gonna back up that pressure that's gonna be on that fibular head. From right there, I'm just influencing motion towards the front, okay? From right there, I'm just going to start to go into that little lunging type position, back and forth, right? I'm keeping constant pressure on the back of that fibular head, right? All I'm trying to do is get it to move more. I don't care if it's moving up, down, left, right. We're not necessarily getting into that. That's not in the depth of this post, all right? But one thing that I want you guys to stay away from is I want you to rock back and forth, but I don't want you to rock far enough to where your heel comes up. If your heel comes up, you're going to contract your calf, and you're going to push your thumb away from that fibular head, right? So, one more time just to recap. The purpose, although I use this as a little bit of a monkey wrench, all right? The purpose is to increase the mobility of this fibular head to increase the mechanical efficiency of the knee. If this becomes stuck, if this becomes immobile, we tend to mess up the mechanics of the knee and it can cause us some knee pain. So what we want to do is we want to put pressure onto the back of the fibular head like I'm doing right here. And the way that we're doing that is by grasping and internally rotating and then rocking the knee back and forth. How many times are we going to try to do this? About 30 times, okay? We're going to get about 30 repetitions in, and then we're going to practice our squat that we did. I'm sorry, we're going to test our squat. So we're going to test, retest. Something like this could be done in a squat or a lunge test. Whichever activity provokes you the most, test it and retest it, all right? Guys, I hope this helps out. And until tomorrow, we're optimizing function to optimize performance.